Hey everyone, my name's Brian, that's my brother Adam. We are the Factional Fight Brothers, and this week in Wurm, we are back at this midsummer event just at the entrance, and we are excited to have Retrograde with us. We're going to go through the event together. I'm still sick, yes, that's why I have this on, don't mind me. I will see you. But that's not going to stop me from going through this event. I've been waiting all week for this. Let's do this. Are you ready, Adam?
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Retro?
I am ready.
Let's do this. Alright, we're back, and I don't know, I've been waiting all week for this. I'm really wanting to know what this mask looks like, because I haven't actually looked at the forums. There's a reward for this event. Maybe, Retro, let's start off. You can just tell us a bit about what we're about to experience.
Well, I won't give too many secrets away, but this event's been the project of about 3 months planning. It's a little bit mazy and a little bit puzzly, and you'll just have to wait and see once you get inside.
So we thought it would be perfect to go in there and just have an interview with you while we explore this event. And I don't know about you, but I'm like itching at clicking that sign so bad all week long. So I really want to just click. I'm clicking it.
All right. Here we go.
Ooh. So what does it say here? You lay down and close your eyes. Barely a moment has passed before you open them again, but you do not recognize this place.
There's a little sign over here that says instructions. Welcome to the 2017 Midsummer event. To participate, step into the hedge, the house, or the cave. From there, find and examine the nymph statues that correspond with the question given.
Shall not be repeated, so make sure to save a copy. Okay. Do we also have to talk to this guy?
Yes.
All right.
Hello. I don't know. Hello, Sandman. How do you hail him again?
With an item
Hail.
activated, right click on him.
Yep.
Oh, this is a good idea. Talk. There you go. Okay, let me just read through this really quickly.
Shall we read it?
It'll be like, welcome, dreamer. You wish to leave this place and wake, not so fast. To leave this realm and wake, you must travel through the twisted and misleading paths. Find the answers to our riddles, and only then will you wake. To start off your journey lies here. The start of this journey lies here. Sorry. Will you choose the dark caverns, the impossible twists and turns of the house, or the foggy gardens? What do you say, Adam?
Let's try the house. It sounds pretty safe.
Or is that a trick? I don't know.
Yeah. This is hilarious. If you come from a maze, talk to the forgetter before going to another, or you will wind up bugged.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was a funny one.
From a maze. Okay. Well, I think we should go towards the house.
And as we go towards the house, we have plenty of questions for you, Retro,
Yes.
that we prepared. It's so awesome to have you on the show, and we're very glad that you were able to join us. So thank you for joining.
It's great to be here.
I
Always
think-
been a huge fan of you guys, and
Oh, thank you.
glad to be a part of it.
I think before we ask any questions, for people that don't know, and I don't know if there are those people, tell them who you are and what you do for the game.
I don't think there's
Well,
anybody who doesn't know the answer to that question yet. So,
I actually did say hello to someone, and they were like, "Who are you? Who's this guy?" So yeah, that sort of kept me in check. Um, I'm Retrograde. I am the community relations coordinator, effectively the community manager with a different name. My job is to be the conduit between players and developers for both sides, letting players know what developers are doing and the projects we're working on, and also letting the developers know what players are saying and what their feedback is. So I also handle stuff like social media. I'm the one on Twitter and Facebook that makes all those dumb posts. Um, I keep in touch with all members of the community and really work that. And I'm also just a player as well. Someone who joined the game a couple of years
That
ago
is
and fell in
awesome.
love with it.
I think we can all relate to that.
so you say like a couple years ago, like when exactly were you first introduced to the game?
Um, that is a tough question because I'm not fully sure. I think it was around 4 years ago now, 2013. So
2013, yeah.
around May or June. I think it's almost, yeah. We might be even looking at my 4 year anniversary.
Nice. How was your first experience within Wurm?
My first experience was actually quite a fun one. I joined with some friends playing a game, and they contacted me and said, "We're going to go build this castle in this game. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "That sounds like fun." So I went through the tutorial, and that wasn't the one that the older players remember where they had to make a mallet, but it was the
Mm.
one before this one. And I came out of there at
Hmm.
Independence. This was before Xanadu had opened.
Yeah.
And some guy there, for some reason, had thought he was my girlfriend. No, no, I was his girlfriend. And he was like, "Is that you? Is that you? Are you ready?" And I had no clue who it was, and I was just new to a game, and I thought, you know what? I think
You'll just go with it.
time, yeah, uh, I'll go with it, and actually ended up saying, I think we need a break. And I think he quickly realized that I wasn't his girlfriend. But from there, he decided that he wanted to spar me for his honor or something. And he ended up proceeding to beat me near to death, in which I ran away and then fell off a steep slope, took a slight bump, and died. Um, so that was my first experience into the game. And yeah, from there, it's just been an absolute adventure.
Nice. Oh, that's a great story. Let's jump into this house and see where it takes us.
So I think the
I hope
house
it
is not
works.
that house.
It's this one, isn't it?
I
To
don't
the
think
house,
so.
yes.
To the
Yeah, yeah.
house. Let's do
Isn't
this.
it?
Oh.
Oh, is that what? Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Ah.
Okay. Let's do this. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid, painted blind. Which skill is useful in making dye?
I think I know the answer to that question.
Now, the question is going to go away, right? So let me just take out my piece of paper here.
If you type /mission, it will actually bring up the last window. I wasn't aware of that when I did the event, and I'm not even sure how it works. But
Ah, yeah.
if you
Oh,
try that, it'll bring the last pop up you had back up. So
oh, nice. So, which skill is useful for making dye? Adam's a dyer, so
Yeah.
you will tell me when that becomes useful. Okay, so let's go through this while we ask
Ooh,
this
we
next
got
question. Retro, where do you remember that moment that you fell in love with this game?
oh, this one's actually quite amusing because nowadays I can barely stand it. I founded a deed with four of my friends up in Central North Independence. And it was like this pre-flattened area, little raised at the top of the hill. And we were digging around there. And sorry, we weren't digging, we were building. And I decided I wanted to build some farmland. And we had this little plateau that was it was like 2 tiles wide. And I'm like, I want to make this like 3 or 4 tiles. I want more farmland.
Mm.
And so I started leveling and flattening and actually shaping the terrain. And that's that moment where I fell in love with it. Just realizing that, I'd spend a day on it and I'd have 3 tiles flat because I only had like 5 skill. But it would
Hmm.
wind up being like realizing that I'd had this impact on the land and I'd shaped it. It's like, wow, okay,
Hello,
I
how
love
are
this.
you?
And yeah, it's at that moment that I fell in love with the game and just really wanted to do more with it. And funnily
Wow.
enough, nowadays I can't stand terraforming. I usually hire someone to do the digging for me.
That's
Oh,
funny because I love the terraforming in this, and that's one of the things that made me fall in love with the game, and I love all of that stuff.
I do too. I love the impact you can have on shaping the land, and I think I saw you mention that in another video, and I was like, yes, I agree
Hmm.
wholeheartedly. But yeah, especially with work and all that now, it's usually limited time for me to actually jump in and hit a level action and then jump back out. And it usually takes me a day to flatten a couple of tiles.
Yeah.
and are people dropping?
I know, right? They're giving away the clue.
This is a dead end. Don't go that way.
So
That's
I
funny.
I did see one giving like this answer is this way, and the answer didn't even exist. It's someone's in there leaving false things.
That's funny. Dead end again.
These
That's
bowls
funny.
are ruining the fun.
All right, so Adam, which one did you think it was? Which
Which
skill?
skill? So it'd have to be natural substances.
Natural substances. So for us, we're trying to find a statue with the name natural substances
Right.
or something
Yes.
like that.
It
Let's
will actually say marble natural substances because
marble
I
natural
did not
substances.
realize I did not realize that the marble statues had the material type in the name, like the actual name.
Oh,
Right. Right.
So yeah, a few questions have had people going, "What? It's not marble." Well, if I'd have known beforehand, they would be stone. But I
Hmm.
kind of had already done them all before realizing that, and did not fancy redoing them.
well,
Hmm.
I think it's close enough. Now, there's so many levels to this thing.
Yeah. Are you up? Did you go up, up, up?
I went up once or twice.
Okay, so I'm trying to follow you, and I'm guessing you went this way because although I see a dead end, yeah, the
Oh.
you can't blame people for dropping these things because it
Not at
is the
all, but
type of thing.
I can go through and pick them all up.
So I
Yeah.
just crashed. I'm coming back into the
Oh
game.
no.
Yeah, my game just crashed. Anyway, um, so I mean, right now, which server do you call home? Which server do you actually live
Independence.
on? Independent. So is that always the server that you started on? You
I
said you've always been there.
I started out on Independence, and yeah, I've pretty much always been there. I've moved a few places around. Like, I did go to Xanadu for not a huge amount of time, probably a couple of months that I spent some time on other people's villages. Like at one point, it was I enjoyed farming and I wanted to grind that, but I hated doing it just for myself. So I found a village looking for a farmer, and I went over and joined and worked as a farmer there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I have visited I have some friends that live on Release, so I visited there. But Independence has always been my home. If I've owned a deed, it's been on Independence.
Hmm. Now, do you currently own a D?
I do. It's actually quite funny. It's the first deed I ever placed by myself.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm sure you two will understand. Living on a deed with another person often raises issues about disagreements about where that building should go or why a 4x4 that's 3 stories tall is ugly. I'm not that good at designing buildings, and they did not hesitate to tell me so. Um, but yes, like especially like when you've got your own projects and your own little things you wanted to do. I ended up making my own little deed just to the north, and yeah, I actually sold it off a while ago because I even placed a trader on it. There's a trader named after me on it,
Oh
and
yeah.
so I sold it off a while ago and went around and just traveled around. I think I lived in northeast Independence for a while on a big farm there. And when I came back, I saw the house had taken damage, but the deed hadn't fallen. So I quickly contacted the owner and was like, "I'd like to buy this back off you." And the guy who did it, his name is Salvio, and he's an absolutely great guy.
Hmm.
He turned around and went, "Well, look, it was going to disband in 3 days, and I wouldn't have noticed.
Well
You have it." And he logged in and traded me the deed papers, and yeah, just gave it back to me. So
Awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, it's like this realization that I came so close to losing like something that's really important to me, like the first solo deed I ever placed, and a trader named after me as well. And so yeah, I now live on there in this little deed that's got a small farm and a few farm animals.
Nice. You still like it there?
Yes, I really do enjoy it. I actually live near Ping Pong, so
Oh yeah,
occasionally
yeah.
he comes into my local and calls me a noob and asks if I've seen anything he can kill.
Funny story. I think Adam used to hire ping pong. Was that right?
I looked up to him. Like he was so long ago. I remember he was the first to get the 100 mining.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, that I always wanted to have that kind of mining, and that's what like just seeing people like him and like mostly just seeing him, inspired me to push my mining, even though I never really got it all that far.
Yeah, it's quite funny because when I moved in, like up to the north, this was during when he was on a break, and I heard all these legends about ping pong and how an awesome guy he was, and like there was even a huge underground canal called Ping Pong's Folly up in the north.
Mm.
And so all I had were these signs of his great works, and like his deed up there, and everyone just talked so it was always positive words about him. So when I met him, I was actually really nervous because I was like, this guy is like pretty much a local legend on Independence. And yeah, nowadays he calls me Archie and calls me a noob, and yeah, it's really quite strange, but someone I'm really glad to have as a friend in game.
Mm.
That's so great. Yeah. Didn't you used to like t- get him to come over to our deed and mine like 100 ore or something like that for money? I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
So I think we found the statue we're looking for.
Yeah. So I double clicked and there was another question. Are you
Which
ready?
of
Right.
these wood types
Which of these
is
wood
best
types
for
is best for
bows?
bows? That's willow, and we passed the willow one
Right, all the way back at the
somewhere at the beginning. So maybe we should stop recording, rewind, and look at where we went. No.
I'm still trying to find natural substances. I'm lost. I don't even know what floor I'm on. I feel I've done this a bit too well.
So I'm guessing that the way that this works is that when I activate the window or the next statue, that sort of like updates my progress in the mission.
Yes, if you look if you have a mission progress thing open, you'll see uh MS03 or whatever, and that'll tell you what percentage of the mission you are through. So
Yes,
it's
there
an
it
easy
is.
way to keep track of what's going on.
Okay, so I got the window, the mission window progress. Okay, got it. And
Mission
I
window.
I still have a ton of progress from the previous maze that I never went
Yes.
all the way through.
That one was that, I still don't know how that one worked. I actually am so glad that because I used to run the not run as in organized, but I would participate in the hunts back before I was the CRC, and I really enjoyed them. But this was my first event that I was CRC for, and I like kind of got brought over, and it's like you can take some shots of it, but this does mean you can't actually run through. And I'm like, oh, that's a shame, and all this. And I really was a bit bummed because I enjoyed going through them. I later on tried doing it, and I was just like, yeah, I am so glad that I did not did not have to do it because, geez, I just got so lost. And so many things, and I'm like, yeah, wow, I do not know how Spellcast manages it.
So just to clarify, okay, you designed this event,
Yes.
but you can't go through the event. You haven't gone through.
Well, the ability to fly through walls makes it a lot easier.
I think it makes a difference because, like from our experience, when we're making things, like labyrinths and stuff, once we finish making it, we have like the whole thing is like memorized, like it's ingrained in our minds. But I can only imagine like it would be different if, like each wall didn't take 20 actions. You know what I mean?
It's one of those things that, like, they still take quite a lot because it's just those actions are instant, so it still takes queuing 20 actions to do. And
Oh, I see. Okay. You still
so
have to
for
put
me,
each brick in.
yeah, obviously being a GM account making it, it's a lot faster. So
Mhm.
funny story about that. I actually thought that I've never made a hedge before, and so with the hedge maze, I was like, um, okay, so I need to like have all these sprouts, and this is going to take forever. And then I was like, oh wow, it uses all 5 sprouts at once, and it just plants. Like, okay, this will be so much faster. And I was so proud of it, and I was talking to Enki, and I'm like, and it even lets this,
Hello,
and he's like,
how are you?
that's that's what normally
Hello,
happens. Like,
how
that's
are
not
you?
being a GM. I'm like, oh, okay. I just had never built a hedge before, so yeah, I learned something new there too. But yes,
Lucky who it
I
is.
designed this. I designed this from the ground up. I did use some generators to get like rough mazes and then tailor it a little bit. But
Okay.
yeah, this was all done like
All
through
done by
my
you, eh?
designing.
That's nice. That's nice. Um, so I don't think this was answered, but how long did you play this game? Like you said, you started back in 2013.
Right.
2012 or something.
That was about
20.
2013.
Okay.
So how long did you play before you actually got involved with the Wurm team?
Ooh, I was a player for a good while. I applied to join the CA team back at the end of 2013, and I got told, I don't know if I was told no, but sort of like wait a bit. And so I went a little bit inactive for a period there, and I recall Mama Darkness, who was the lead CM at the time,
Oh yeah.
she reached out to me, and she said, are you still interested? I'm like, yes. She said, then continue to be active in CA help. And I'm like, okay, excellent. So I got really motivated and started working there more. And I became a CA either at the end of the year or start of 2014. I think.
Okay, so
Start
that's
of
pretty quick.
2014. Yeah,
It's
that's
like
not.
within a year.
And then
Yeah,
you went from that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was absolutely in love with the game, and I spent like I would literally spend my spare time reading the wiki. It was a little bit weird looking back at it now, but yeah, like I got all that done, and so I really enjoyed being knowledgeable, and I've often been a support role in other games as well. So I sort of adapted to it naturally and just answered a lot of questions and really enjoyed helping people. So yeah, I probably got it a bit quick, but I certainly put in a lot of work for it.
So, and when did you become uh, the community relations coordinator?
Well, that's a bit of a long story because I recall sometime a couple of months into my work as a CA, I've worked in other games in the past, and I noticed that they'd had positions for public relations assistants. So I actually contacted Johan and said, look, I've done this in other games. I'd be interested in helping out. And he was like, sure, you can join as a volunteer. So I actually joined as a PRA for a while. And I did a lot of work. Oh, there's someone, but I have no clue where I am. I did a bit of work as a PRA on like Facebook and such and working on that. And it wasn't until Johan left and then there was Wasu and Dr. Cheese who came and went. They were both great and like teaching me a lot of stuff as well. And yeah, after that I contacted Rolf and went, I want to put my hand up for this. And I sort of outlined what I wanted to do with the team and sort of like shift from just public relations to more community oriented stuff. And he liked it a lot, so I actually joined the end of 2015, I think, around November, because Wurm Unlimited had no.
Was that the year
that was
Wurm
2015
Unlimited?
when Wurm Unlimited. Yeah, Wurm Unlimited came out in October
Right at the end
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was after that because I know Dr. Cheese handled the launch of that. But yeah, I contacted him shortly after and was like, I'd like to do this. Here's my plans. And yeah, luckily he thought the ideas were good and gave me a shot. And now here I am.
That's awesome. So just because we found Willow.
Yeah,
and
I found
now
Willow.
Where is it?
The question is, I think it's on the bottom floor.
Back on the first floor, yeah.
So look at the stairs everywhere.
What was the question here? Who was the first female player god?
Player god.
Is that what it said? Yeah.
Smeagol. Is the answer. And I saw Smeagol.
You saw Smeagol? I did not see Smeagol.
Here we go.
Second floor?
Closer. Second floor, third floor.
Third floor. So
well,
I'm on
it's
the wrong floor.
The floor I'm on, and I thought I was on the second floor. So
this is the...
turns out I'm in completely the wrong spot.
So what are we doing here? So
this is actually kind of fun. Like it's actually like I'm like after going through it's see, here's the thing. It's not that I'm lost. Like I don't get lost in here except for I can't remember where
I found
that
Smeagol.
statue is. Is it on the third floor?
Yeah, it was on the floor that I believe we were on.
Does this mean I'm on the third floor?
You are on whatever floor we're on. I don't know.
So
there is a floor below this, at least one, if not two. I don't know.
It's amusing because like this was the very intention I had with the house. Like when I was first building it, I had all these ideas of, I could have different wall types for each floor because we got all the new ones. And as it slowly came to fruition, it was like, no, actually, I think it would be more disorienting if everything looked the exact same.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
You don't know what floor you're on. You don't know how many floors there are in this. And it was just this real, yes, this is what I want. When I told Buddha, his first response was to laugh because he's just like, that is going to be so confusing.
That's exactly how I made one of my labyrinths. I was just like, what kind of floors should we have in it? And I'm like, maybe if all of them were just rock floors everywhere, and then make it so all the walls are exactly the same in this giant area. And that's what we did. It was so confusing. I found Smeagol. I don't know where you are, Adam.
Okay, I'm on the same floor as the love tile, the love and religion. So I think I might be one floor above. I need to get back down.
Yes, you're one floor above. Yeah, so was that one floor below this? Smeagol?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I went down one.
So where are you, Adam?
Whoa.
So while Adam gets lost.
Yeah. So when you started playing this game, like, did you have friends that you were playing with, or did you like start the game on your own?
I actually had 3 or 4 friends I started with.
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing, I was actually playing a game of Minecraft, at the time, and they contacted me and they're like, "We're going to go build this castle in this game. Do you want to play?" And I thought, you know what, that sounds like fun. And so like I was downloading the game while playing Minecraft and got it, installed it, closed Minecraft, jumped on the game. I've not loaded Minecraft since. Like ever since the taste of this, it was just like, no, this is what I've been looking for. Like, you know, Minecraft gave a bit of it, but this is the more in-depth edge that I really wanted. So yeah, I started with 3 friends, and like people that I worked with in the previous game I worked for. So we all sort of ran around and we started all together, and I was sort of like the go-to guy for resources. One decided she wanted to be a blacksmith slash chainsmith. So I was like, okay, and spent like 2 days mining all this iron for her. And then another one wanted to be a carpenter, so I cut all this wood. And it's quite funny because I have like nearly 85 mining and over 90 wood cutting and 86 digging, yet no crafting skills. Like my highest is 70 blacksmithing because I finally went, you know what, I really need to work on this, and pushed it because I just enjoyed like working with people and collecting resources for them to use.
So do any of them play still?
One still does, and she still lives on the same deed as me. She jumps between Wurm Unlimited and Wurm Online, especially with the Australian Wurm Unlimited servers. The ping times on those compared to a European server are amazing. Like it almost disorients me when playing that game because everything is so fast. I'm not used to a half a second of delay before getting something done. Whereas in this, it happens instantly, and it's like I'm not used to this.
I think the same thing happens with me when we start playing Worm Unlimited. So I found Smeagane.
Yeah, I'm
and
still.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. The next one is
there you are. There you are.
I still don't see you.
I
You just walked right past me.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, somehow, maybe that's why I haven't seen you. Oh, there you are.
I feel like there's a little bit of lag, but that's okay.
Yeah, so the next one is how is time?
Well, that'll be botanizing.
Botanizing, and I saw the botanizing marble statue somewhere. Have you seen it recently?
On the first floor, I think.
Yeah, it's like one of at the very beginning.
Oh, I regret everything now. Because I went to the top floor for it, and then for some reason I was thinking of the wrong question, and yeah, now I'm right up here and I don't know how to get back down. I'm also finding like walls that have the wrong rotation for it, and I'm like, okay, I'll just quickly rotate that around.
I know that the wall is somewhere here.
I had someone help me with like each of the questions, and one thing I haven't seen too many people notice is the quotes themselves are actually from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, really?
Because my original idea was I wanted to do something that was closer to A Midsummer Night's Dream in terms of the event, and so yeah, this person went and got all these quotes and linked up trivia questions for them. And yeah, like as time went on, it shifted more away from the Midsummer Night's Dream stuff, but I left the quotes in, and I think it's surprising how well they fit. Some of them are a bit of a stretch, but others are really, really nice.
I do like them. So while we try to find, here we go.
Here's the problem: is that
first floor.
There's a little bit of lag in the sense that I see you, but I know it's not exactly where you are because you turn and you go through walls and you go through the floors.
Yeah,
right.
So yeah,
that's okay.
I'm not sure if that's me needing to reset the client or if that's.
I think it's just slight server lag, to be honest. I think everyone in here is getting it because of it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Xanadu's performance is it's something that's like a major focus of improving, and we have done major things with it, but it's always a work in progress sort of thing. So
So do the devs, uh, like, is it actually known that Xanadu's server lag is substantially worse than all the other servers?
well, yeah, it's not anything. Oh, I found it. It's
There
it's
we go.
this way. I think you turned around. Um, it's not anything that's so much unique to Xanadu, just the way it scales. It's 4 times bigger than Independence. It's 16 times bigger than Deliverance,
Mm.
and has like a lot more creatures. So it's just a lot more that it has to do at once. So
Hmm.
we do a lot of optimizing in terms of changing how things um uh, uh like instead of checking something every second, it schedules jobs and checks them and does all that. So there's a lot more like optimizing that's been done, and especially like the creature stuff is also being looked at in terms of where can we save some time.
That's good.
But
I'm
yeah,
glad it's being looked at.
I absolutely really enjoy Xanadu as a server. Um, es- Especially being Australian though, the lag does make it a little bit slow at times. Like
Mm.
building this event, I actually was quite surprised at how little lag there was. I was actually dreading building it on Xanadu because I thought, oh, this is going to take forever. Each action's going to take hours. But no, it was apart from a few lag spikes, it was actually really, really good.
Yeah,
Um,
and here in Canada, we don't really see that much lag, personally, anyway.
Yeah, it's mostly spikes during busy times or when someone's doing a large amount of actions. Like, um, one major change that we did recently was the cooking timing. And I know it's a bit controversial with some thinking it takes too
Right.
long. And
Right.
I've been in contact with the devs, but the thing is with that one, it was basically checking everything that would be in a lit forge every second to see if it made a recipe. It was like a bit too long. So a bit too much work. On a
Mm.
smaller server, it was still recording lag, and we were getting reports from Wurm Unlimited servers about lag. So we sort of looked at it and went, okay, let's look at this on Xanadu. And it was like, whoa, we probably need to really do this quickly because it's really hurting Xanadu. And yeah, so there is that, but we're also looking at some new performance monitoring stuff. And it was quite funny because I had Keenan, one of the devs, contact me. He's like, "Can you go check this server for any lag?" And I've gone over and I've checked. And he's like, "Is it laggy?" And I'm like, "I have no clue. I'm from Australia with a 350 millisecond ping, and I've been working on Xanadu. I don't know what is acceptable lag anymore."
Right.
Oh, that's
We're
great.
looking for love here, aren't we? Was that it?
So
Did you find botanizing statue, Adam?
I didn't find it.
I thought you
I,
were like
I'm
right
Oh, okay.
behind
I'm
me.
I'm back at the Willow. Like it's hard for me to follow you because you look like you're going through walls.
Yeah, 'cause
So
I was
speaking of
waiting on you.
that cooking update, like I know that there was that initial change, and everybody there was like this huge outcry about how it caused cooking times to take super long.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was like some kind of switch that made it better. I'm not sure. Like I haven't seen anybody complain about it, and I'm assuming that it got fixed. Is that the
Well,
case?
the biggest problem we had with it was they were taking super long, but what made players notice was the fact that every like most dishes needed multiple things. To make bangers and mash, you had to make the sausage first, and you had to make the bread first, then the sausage, then the bangers and mash. So while normally, say, it taking 2 minutes to cook wouldn't be an issue because you could do other stuff, because you had to do that 3 times, it then stretched out to 6 or 8 minutes, and that's where
Mm.
it started getting a bit long. So we have tweaked it down a bit, um, and we'll keep an eye on how it all goes. But Yeah, it seems as though the last one was a little bit too long, and this one seems to be a bit better.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, like I haven't seen anybody notice like mention a change, mention any issues. I mean, since that change. So
Adam,
that's
go
good.
back to Willow.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I'm back at Willow. I'm like pretty much next to Willow.
I don't know if you see me, because I can't see you.
I can see you sitting in this corner here, but I know that you're not there. So
Okay, so go opposite of Willow. Like keep going down that
I'm
path.
standing on the Willow tile right now.
Face away and walk that way.
Walk that way. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And should be here. Got it. There we go.
All right. We caught him back up.
And I know where religion is. Religion is up at the top.
Or is it the top?
It might be the second to the top.
All right, so I'll follow you then, since.
Although I actually don't know if there is that. I actually haven't gone. I know it's up there. It's like.
All right, so let's try to ask the next question.
Okay.
So as the community relations coordinator, what does that exactly entail? So what is your job?
Yeah, what is the day-to-day sort of like stuff look like?
I don't think there is any typical day for my job. It varies so wildly. Quite often I'm the one that deals with player stuff on the forums. Important issues such as like I know Electress, who is our QA. We're actually in the same maze as her.
Yeah, she's right here. I just passed her.
She does an amazing job with all the bug collection, and I've actually tried doing it. Like, she's had breaks, and I've tried doing it. It's just so much juggling. So thankfully, I don't have to do that bit. But my task is usually interacting with the community when they raise issues on the forums. So you know, like the cooking time stuff and a lot of suggestion stuff. I try to be the dev input on those, giving more feedback as to whether it's possible, or even just throwing out ideas or generating more discussion on the idea. My day-to-day is also working a lot with Enki, like, because obviously I'm not in charge of like moderation decisions, but quite a lot of them do impact the community as a whole. You know, it's will, like, is this the kind of behavior we want, or, you know, will this blow up? And it's sort of like keeping in touch with him lets me keep an eye on any major issues that will come up from things. I also spend a lot of time on my own projects. I've got certain things that I work on, like the designer deed one, which was started by one of my CRAs, and all that stuff. I actually have someone contacting me about a pristine deed redesign. So that's pretty cool.
Is this the starter deeds you're talking about?
Yeah, the that project. I know you guys did Linton, which is absolutely amazing. And yeah, so I occasionally get people going, I've seen these done, and I really think this one would be good. So yeah, that's quite normally, you know, there's normally one or two ongoing at any time.
You just passed religion, Adam.
Did I?
Yeah.
Where is it? In here?
In this corner.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, okay, here we go. Got it.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's it.
Okay.
I realized that I was waiting for you guys to catch up, and now I've lost religion.
I just saw you a second ago, so I know that you're close.
I'm trying to follow where you were, but I think I've lost you. But yeah, so my day-to-day stuff is usually dealing with a lot of emails. I get a lot of private messages on the forum. If I miss any, I do apologize. Sometimes I have people like send me going, any word on this? It's like, whoops, I completely missed this one. So yeah, so I work with that. I work on Unlimited on the Steam forums as well, and do a bit of that. But I also try to make time to play the game every couple of days. I, you know, jump in and keep my interest going in the game. You know, I never wanted this game to just become work. So I like to spend a lot of time in the game, enjoying it as well. There we go. We found religion.
Yeah, and the next one, which is, I guess, love, is very close to religion, actually.
It is?
Yes.
Screwed up
I
then.
think
It's on the same
No,
floor.
the funny thing is I was originally planning this to be just, one flow through, like between each one. And it was actually Enki when I was discussing it with him. It was like I was worried it was going to be a bit too easy. And so he's like, why not have three different start points? The cave, the house, or the hedge maze. And that way,
Mm.
wherever you pick determines which questions you get next. So someone who starts in the hedge will get the same questions in different orders.
Uh,
So if people are running through and they go through different here we go, found love. Go through different starts, they won't be like next you go to this one, next you go to that one. Okay, now we've got to find what is butchered from a spider.
that would be the heart. No. Yeah.
Would that be the heart?
Yeah. I think that
I'm
was.
gonna guess heart. That's the only one I've seen in this labyrinth.
That's right. Yeah, it's the only one that I've seen that would be butchered from a spider. I mean, the only other thing that butchers from a spider is meat, and heart I think is a little bit lower in the floors.
Yeah, I think we have to go down.
Here we
I'm
go.
gonna say, why are you following me? I don't know. But it turns out I did know the way.
Here, I got it. It's just.
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. We're all here. Good.
Ooh, I will lead them up and down. I am feared in field and town. Goblin, lead them up and down. What is the goblin unique called?
The goblin leader.
The goblin. I don't think we've ever seen him. We saw him.
I think it's a leader. Goblin leader. Am I wrong about that?
Goblin.
I've never faced him. I've never. Yeah.
I saw a picture of him on.
Yeah, it is goblin leader.
Need to get
Alright.
your fearless titles.
Yeah, that is something we don't have.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. Oh, we're in a hedge. We're in the hedge maze, and I noticed you made it out of maple. Was that a particular? Was there a particular reason for that?
I like the look of the maple hedges. That's pretty much it. It was. You know what? I like this.
Well,
It was actually the doing the house maze that got me to like sandstone too. Because I thought pottery brick. I went, no, I'll try sandstone for this one, and just despite building that massive house out of it, I was like, in the end, you know what? I really like this.
well, I know that a long time ago there was development on making all the hedges have a special unique look. I assume that is no longer the case.
I haven't spoken with Saruman about it. I know, but I do know that like updating a lot of the fence types is like, as you know, we've had the new textures come in.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it actually is something that he is working on. It's just making it so they do look different enough to warrant adding that.
Because that is something we have been waiting for. That's definitely true, especially with the new labyrinth. We particularly made all of our hedges out of rose hedges, just in case.
Yeah, that's it. It's quite funny when I get told, oh, we'll be adding, like, especially with the new texture types, and it was like, we'll be adding these, and it's like, okay, we're going to have a lot of people going, now I have to bash everything and restart. And then the bridge types came out, and I was like, okay. And then I got told about, in the news the other week that the work on improving, like, the hold up we've had with the fence types is just an actual physical limitation on how many different fence types we can have.
Mm-hmm.
So our dev team's been hard at work challenging that one and expanding it to be able to do more fence types. So I know they're coming, and when I was told that, it's like, okay, well, it's going to be good news to some, and others are going to think, now I have to go ahead and bash everything and start again.
So I don't know, have they told you anything about how they tackle a physical limitation like that?
Usually they don't have the crayons to explain it all to me, but sometimes I get the gist when I talk with them. Like when certain data types are declared, like when they're writing it originally, they allow, say for this, they allowed for 256 different fence types. I think it was that, anyways, or 255. But there are so many different types. Like there's unfinished versions of everything. Every house wall takes part of it. Every hedge takes part. So there's a huge amount there, right? And so that's where we hit that limit. And it's like, well, 10 years ago when it was being coded originally, they didn't think that we'd ever have 125 to 22 different house types, wall types. So yeah, like once you get that, it's like, well, okay, so we need more now, and then it's going back and changing it to a different like a larger value, so we can have more types, and then making sure that it doesn't break everything that exists. So it's, yeah, a lot of situations, it's they'll tell me and I'll nod and smile, but I wouldn't fully understand. But sometimes it's Buddha will take the time to break out the old chalkboard and draw me pictures to explain what's going on.
Try to explain it to you.
Yeah.
So that you could try to explain it to us.
Exactly. It's important that I understand because I need to explain it to the players. But like that's one thing. My background isn't like programming or anything. I think I've gone this way like 5 times now. Ooh. Yeah, my background is mostly just customer service and community management. So while I've spent a lot of time with devs and sort of can pick up on stuff, I'm also a bit silly when it comes to like suggesting ideas in this. Like I've had Hitch will ask a question and I'll be like, "How about we do it like this?" And she's like, "No, no, we can't do it like that. You go sit in the corner." But yeah, it's a lot of fun learning, and I really do appreciate the devs taking time to explain things to me because, like it'd be very easy to say, "Oh, look, don't worry, don't worry about the technical details," but I think taking the time to sometimes share the technical details and reasoning really helps us get the message across about what we're working on and why.
No,
It's quite funny too because often it gets the devs' creative ideas flowing. Like the cave entrances and exits, they asked could that be paved, and Titch's reply was it would require this, this, and this, so don't expect to ever see it. But through explaining it, I'm not sure exactly how that came about, but through explaining it, they realized they could do it. And yeah, they're working on it, and I announced it in last week's news. Last night's news.
I was extremely surprised about that announcement. Like it just blew me away. Like because like I was also following that conversation about how Titch was saying how it seems like it would be impossible. Don't expect that it's going to happen anytime soon. And then all of a sudden it's like,
yeah, next update, it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really have immense respect for the dev team because they really do make the impossible happen every update.
I know Brian
No,
didn't want me to bring this up, but I have to bring this up because
what?
I like I to me the superstar, and it might not be that this case, but like to me the superstar dev on the team is got to be Titch, because it seems to me, and I could be just an outsider's view about this whole thing, but it seems to me that everything she touches just turns to gold, like immediately. Like the permission system, bridges, the cooking system, like seems to be all like, is it just the perception that I have, or is it actually like her, like is it that, I don't know, like is it that she has a magic touch with this game, or I don't know what it is, like, or maybe
I can definitely agree. Titch is an absolutely amazing dev to have on the team, and I really enjoy working with her. And I think, to me, one of the best things about it is she does have a really good grasp on what makes things wormy, and like
I love that word.
yeah. there's always just little things that she'll add, like, "Ooh, I found the goblin leader. I lost me though, so I don't know where I am, but I know where the goblin leader is."
I'm like,
Um,
I can't seem to find a lot of these statues. I found sleep bonus.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually thought the hedge would be the easiest, but I am so lost in this.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, Titch's work has always been amazing, and you know, it's a group effort by all of the devs, of course,
Hmm.
but Titch is extremely good in working out what would um really, really bring something to the game. And like she still
Hmm.
plays a lot, and that's always fun. You know, I've caught her in local before, and um, yeah, it's always fun chatting with her there. Like you
And
know,
is she also on Indie?
no, she's on release. So when I'm visiting a friend over in release,
Right.
I'll occasionally see her. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's really really cool seeing her in game, and she really does just have some really good ideas, and it's really cool seeing it come from this. I've got this slight idea about this to here's my major pitch to, here it is for testing, and then here it is for the game, and it's like that cooking one was an idea of hers from 2008 when we
Oh yeah.
were looking at implementing the cooking. Like I was going to do a little bit of a write up about the history of this or where all this came from, and she sent me a link to that. It was quite funny because the entire thing was like you could see where she had gotten this idea from. She'd wrote it like 8 years ago, and then like
Wow.
the third post down has gone, well, now that the hard bit's done, this should only take a little bit to come in, this should totally be done. And it was just funny because she spent like pretty much a year designing and coding this, and someone's gone, oh, the hard bit's done, this can be in with a few lines of code. And I had a chuckle about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny. But that does bring up a good point that our perception as players that we just seem to have no idea whatsoever how long something would actually take to develop. It might seem really, really easy to, for like sitting in the back here as a player and saying, yeah, shouldn't they just have to like press some buttons or write a few few line of code? Like the idea is so simple. It should be easy to put into the game. Like, for example, like what we were saying about capes. Like, shouldn't we be able to
Yes.
put capes into the game? And like, you know, shouldn't that be simple to do? And then, I guess it wouldn't be that simple to do in a game like
No,
this.
no. There's a lot going on under the hood, and you know, it often is a lot more in depth than what it looks like on the surface. I'm guilty of the same thing too. Like I've suggested some things as like, I want this, and this to be done, and they're like, do you know how long this would take? I'm like, no, that's why I suggested it, that you do it. If I knew how long it would take, it'd mean I could do it, and I'd probably have done it. But
Yeah.
yeah, there often is, and one thing that what I feel personally we've struggled with in the past is sort of giving the right time frames and ideas about how things are coming. And I know a lot of people use Rolf's quote, "Bridges will be in by Christmas in
Right.
2006," and
Yeah.
then the advertising of it over a whole year. And the thing is like, especially like with bridges and with cooking, these were major, major behind the scenes updates. It wasn't just like, build a house that looks like this. It was changes to how collisions work, changes to how um, structures work, and all these different things. And so it often does sort of be a little belying of what like what is actually possible and how long it would take. Art stuff is always a struggle to quantify because like Saruman is amazing with his art stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but new models take a lot longer than retextures, so like with the fences and stuff, it was quite easy. Like we simply just made new textures and applied them to the old model. But if we were making new models from scratch, that's when you start winding up with it taking a lot more time. And like we've been really lucky with Saruman's work. He's just been pumping it out nonstop. And he's been doing amazing, and like he did the mask for this event, and like
Hmm.
I pitched him the idea, and he's like, oh, I don't know, and I'm like, I was thinking this and this, and I gave him what I wanted to call it and what I want to examine, and he's like, I can work with this, and yeah, soon enough he had a picture of it for me, and it's just amazing. It blew me away when I
Nice.
saw it.
Nice. That's awesome.
I think that the mask model went over really well. A lot of people, like a lot of good positive feedback about it.
Yeah, I was quite surprised because in the past masks have been like I love them as vanity items. They, collect them, show them off. And yeah, in the past people have been like a bit iffy about the masks. And so I was talking with Sarah and I was like, I really like this mask, and do I show people it before the event? And he's like, well, it could be a surprise. And I'm like, yeah, but what happens if they like get there and go, oh, just a mask? You know? So it was this, do we make it a surprise, or do we, make sure that they want it and they want to come? So we decided to show it off first because that gets people interested. And luckily enough, a lot of people were really interested, and they came along.
Hmm.
Oh, people go crazy over this stuff.
Here's the thing about
Yeah.
Same me.
masks for me is that like there isn't a way to create a mask in the game. All the masks come from rewards. And I know that this is like something that we've talked about on the show before about how it seems like this game, at least at the start, was like everything in the game is player created, but as time goes on, more and more items become like like reward
Yeah.
exclusive. Is this going to be a trend that continues, or is this like, I don't know?
Well, it's hard for me to say because, I'm not a developer, so,
Yeah.
it's not my call in the end. But one thing that I've wanted and sort of like done my best to push with the dev team is I like to keep there's the ability to have exclusive things and such, but they can still be crafted. You can make the crafting materials exclusive. So there's still that level of the players still need to craft it, but it can't all be created en masse. Um, I've thrown around some ideas about some things, like obviously I'm always thinking of the next event, and I've thrown about some ideas that I'd like to have items that you can only obtain through the event, but you still need to craft or can craft later, and things like that. And I think I obviously the very nature of Worm is the whole crafting thing. So yeah, I do not see that being lost in a swamp of everything being just like, buy it and own it. I like the idea of a system that lets you still have exclusive items, but keeps that crafting element too.
Mm.
It's just a balance that needs to be met and kept.
I think I would like that balance too. All right, so we're completely lost. We haven't even
Yeah.
found the goblin
Yeah,
leader
I
yet.
found the goblin leader.
in,
Oh, I
in
found the goblin leader
Oh.
maybe
again.
maybe a general direction.
Yeah, are
Like
you in the
Uh,
northern part of this?
no.
I think I'm in the southeastern part.
Okay, so
Southeastern part. Okay,
I'm turning
I can
around.
work with that.
Yeah, obviously this is a lot easier to do when you can fly through the walls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm back at sleep bonus.
All right, let's go to the southeast. So as we try to get over there, um,
So we
I'm
we
going the
we
same way as you.
asked our our Patreon followers, our patrons, like we mentioned that we were going to be interviewing you, and we asked them a bunch of questions. We asked them to give us their questions that they want us to ask you. So I think this
Uh-oh.
is a perfect time to start that segment. So the first question, and this one comes from somebody that you know very well. It comes from Buddha. And his
Uh-oh.
question is, who is your favorite dev to work with and why?
Ah, that's a tough one. The funniest thing is Keenan actually asked me the opposite the other day. He said, You know, which dev is the most frustrating to work with? You know, it's like, I couldn't decide then either. You know, it's um, in terms of favorites, I don't know if I really have a favorite. I enjoy working with them all. Like, Keenan is extremely helpful, and like I can usually get he's really good at breaking down stuff and explaining it to me. And if I ever say, oh, this needs a dev input on something, and I can poke him and send him the link, and he'll do that. Like he'll answer it on the forums, which is always great. Buddha's absolutely fun to talk with. He is a lot of fun to just chat and spend time with outside of like talking dev stuff as well. And of course, I play on his Wurm Unlimited server.
Mm.
Um, the other devs like Titch is just absolutely great to see her work on projects and see them come to life. Um, Jayberg, watching him, like he's one new to the dev team, as is Samul, but watching them both work is really cool. Like, you can really tell that Jayberg gets the Worm style, like in how things are done in terms of just that slightly off skew stuff with, like, like examining sheep, and it's like the blood-filled legendary eyes and stuff, and just a slightly off skew sense of humor, and I think Jayberg really gets that. um Warland is a lot of fun with. He obviously works on Deed Planner, and I've worked closely with him, like getting him the info that he needs in order to get Deed Planner updated, because I know like everyone uses that.
Yep, we do.
Yeah, Oz is fairly new to the dev team, but he's a lot of fun. He and I like talk a bit. Like also a PvPer on Epic, so it's interesting getting that input and stuff from him. Um, and obviously Rolf. Rolf is like the the granddaddy of the entire game, so it's really interesting watching, like talking to him about aspects of it, because everyone has their own idea of what they perceive Worm to be, but for Rolf, it's like, he took this from nothing and built it. So my absolute favorite dev would be the entire team, because they're just all fun to work with. And maybe I'm saying that to not get in trouble with anyone of them.
I was
It's
just about
the
to say
cop-out
that.
answer.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was
Yes,
going to say.
I love them all equally.
Oh, that's
That
great.
begs the question, like, so there was a time where you were talking with Rolf. Is he like what? I know that we kind of got a sense of like what his involvement has turned into, that he's sort of taking a back seat. But what does that exactly look like? Is he checking in on the game? Is he giving his input? Is he listening to the feedback and that sort of stuff?
He is. One side of my work that players don't see is when I do the weekly news for the players, I also do a weekly news for the devs.
Ah.
And it doesn't have as flashy pictures and as cool a name. Like Valorant International is an awesome name. Game actually came up with that one.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I send an email out to the devs every week, letting them know what's going on in the community, what's been going on in the forums, what I'm doing, justifying, please don't fire me, I swear I'm working. Um, but yeah, I always keep everyone in touch with that. That's the entire dev team, Enki and Rolf. And Rolf is always usually the first to answer with, like, he'll comment on something. He actually told me to say hi to you guys. So hi.
Oh.
Uh,
Right.
Well,
and
hello.
yeah, so he's always there and always reads his emails and in contact with us. He also is on contactable on like our dev channels, especially because he wrote pretty much 99% of the code. Whenever there's a tough issue, it's like, Rolf, what's this do? And he'll be like, I don't know. And it's just like, okay. But no, he's really good, and like, especially when it comes to explaining old mechanics or why he did things in the past, he's always there, and he's always, he's not actively doing anything, but he is definitely there as a resource to contact if we need anything.
No, that's awesome to know. That's awesome that he's
Yeah.
still around and still available to especially the devs. And oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I make sure to keep him up to date with everything that's going on, just because the game is his baby, and naturally he wants to keep in touch with what's going on, because he's always loved just how it's growing. Like, I remember our early discussions. It was really just he enjoyed letting the players make their decisions and shape the things because he just loved seeing what they could come up with. Like that's what it was to me. It was he's
Hmm.
handed them the tools to create their own world, and he really enjoyed seeing what they came up with. So yeah, I always work to keep him in the loop with everything just because it keeps him in touch with the game and reminds him that it's still his baby.
Mm.
It's good. It's good to know. So we finally found sleep bonus. So that's two. It's like we're on a roll here. Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
so I
find sleep
saw
bonus.
I saw. Oh, really? I thought we just passed you.
Yeah. Sleep
Yeah.
bonus is in the southwestern-ish
Southwest.
area.
Okay.
Where was it? It was somewhere right over here. Now I lost it.
Yeah, you went the wrong
Oh,
way.
I think
Yes.
I think I got it. Yeah, I see you.
You know what? I thought I had oil in my lantern. Turns out I don't.
Here we go. I'll pass you my oil, my tar.
Thank you.
Here we go. Yes, sleep bonus.
And the next one is,
Uh,
what is a berry
I,
not
s-
found in worm?
I saw one called blueberry, I think. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Or something like that.
but
Was it
blueberries are
blueberry?
in worm.
R and
Yeah,
worm.
blueberries are worm. Yeah.
Well, I saw one that had berry in the name. I just can't remember where it was. Hmm.
Me neither.
Okay, so the
Gotta
next
be
few
here somewhere.
questions are like specifically about mechanics that like people are wondering whether or not they can be added to the game.
All
And I'm
right.
not
Yep.
sure. I'm not sure how you're not a dev, so you're not able to tell us whether or not something can be added into the game. But nonetheless, we're gonna ask them, and maybe we can discuss our our thoughts on these ideas. So
All right.
this one comes from Valiance and Kaylee, good friends of ours. Um, say, hey guys, here's our question and idea. Is it possible to get foods to be able to be sold on merchants without the super fast decay? We had such a great cooking update, and it seems like a travesty not to be able to sell them on merchants without them decaying super fast. Some thoughts we had were using wax to wrap with the foods or keep them fresh on a merchant for maybe 2 weeks, or sealed barrels of food to keep fresh for maybe 2 weeks on a merchant. This makes foods not exploitable. Um,
Life transfer.
blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure. As a larder and barrel racks does seem to do a better job. Once the item is bought or taken off the merchant, the decay rate turns back to normal. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's something that was raised when we were doing the cooking update, and we all came back to the same issue: is that like if it's used to circumvent decay, then you obviously wind up with it being used to circumvent decay.
Mm,
And I like the idea of being able to sell stuff like that,
Hmm.
especially like sealed barrels. As a die maker, being able to sell like sealed containers with dyes in them would be absolutely so much fun because I'd literally be able to plonk all the colors on a merchant and say, contact me for custom colors. But if you want to just buy a good red or good green or good blue, it's all there.
mm.
Um, but yeah, it does come back to the point of, working out balance and working out, how these things work. Ooh, I won't give it away, but I think I found one in the northwest that might interest you guys.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, the thing with suggestions is like 90% of them on the forums are great suggestions, and I really enjoy reading them. And I often relay so many to the dev team, like, check this out, check this out. The
Hmm.
issue we face is the time they take to implement. I've said this in a few places, but yeah, it's a matter of what our current scope is, what we're working on, what we're looking to expand upon, and also,
Hmm.
how much time and resources does it take? If it takes a new model or new artwork, that delays it by a bit because Saruman has so much on his plate, and often when we're working on a project, we will actually, I will go through the suggestions board and grab suggestions about that sort of styles of stuff. Like so many cooking suggestions that were coming up were stuff that we'd either grabbed beforehand or were already being worked on or got implemented in. At one point, we even got surprised, started wondering whether we had to examine Titch's house for bugs, because she'd literally add something to it, and then there'd be a suggestion 3 days later to add it. Wow, okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, so it's usually not so much a matter of like ignoring ideas or anything, but it's just working out which ones need the most focus first and what are the devs currently working on, and how does it fit with them, with all of that.
It makes sense that there's like a limited amount of resources that you guys have, and you guys have to kind of coordinate and focus on what is best for the game. But particular to this, I recently bought a pizza from somebody. Somebody opened a pizza house.
Yep.
And I bought a pizza, and they offered to wrap it for free, and they wrapped it. I completely was oblivious to this whole wrapping mechanism, and it has not taken a decay hit yet. And I'm wondering, like, how long is this pizza gonna actually last? So, is there already a mechanism for this?
Well, wrapping does delay decay. I know it doesn't like eliminate it completely, but it does slow it greatly. The biggest thing that will speed up decay is having it in your inventory, which is what having it on a merchant counts as well. And yeah, there's other ways to slow it down, like some foods in picnic baskets. Obviously, that pizza probably doesn't fit, because I think I've bought one from him too. I got some for more natural substances work.
Yes. And they're huge.
Yes, they are. They're like massive. It's like, I'm never gonna eat this. But yeah, like I think that the mechanic already exists there in some form, and seeing it come to merchants would be a cool idea. I would enjoy that. It's just working out a way that's not too, easy to circumvent the entire system with.
Right, too overpowered.
Yeah. Winding up with only needing to cook one heavy meal, put on a merchant. You never have to eat it. Never have to cook again.
Right. But I mean, like, there's already a system for. Couldn't you just get a large magic chest?
Exactly. There'd be ways to do that via the existing mechanics. It's just a bit more expensive than a merchant contract.
What is the second tier of rarity?
Supreme.
Supreme.
Yeah, I think I saw that statue there.
You saw the statue?
Did I get that one?
Maybe you missed this one.
This one, yeah. You're looking for rugs still?
No, I'm looking for 0.25. I walked up there. I just didn't examine it.
Oh, you're a couple behind, yeah.
Yeah, I was too busy talking and not paying attention to where I was going.
Well, I would say the next question, but since I'm coughing all the time, maybe you can just say all the questions there.
Yep. So the next one, again, something about adding stuff to the game. Will the dev team be adding new hairstyles? And if so, will they be adding or purchasable mirrors that can be changed, that we can use to change our looks? And I know for a fact that has been sort of announced, but
we are looking at the cash shop thing of the whatchamacallit, the gold mirrors, and the gold mirrors allow changing of genders, but they will also allow changing of looks. As to whether the silver mirror function, or whether there'd be like a platinum mirror or something that had, only purchasable looks, I don't really know. The cash shop thing is something that we want to take fairly slowly, and we don't want to just like force on everyone and sort of push. I think that it could, it could come, whether it comes to a like premium only thing or something. That's up for debate, and we've got Taufik, who is our like payment shop web store developer. He's been working on improving the shop system and how all that flows. In the past, it was pretty much it works like this, don't touch it. And So he's been spending a lot of time getting it up and working really well. Some people might have seen some improvements there, but most of it goes through PayPal and Xsolar, so I don't know whether they'd see major improvements.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has done a lot of work on that and continues to do so. So yeah, it could come. Like obviously, it's not my call. I would like, I'm always for more customization options. I think showing off and vanity is like the number one reason it's like we do things in Worm. Like, a little 2x2 house would suffice for everything Wormian needs. But well, if you can make that mansion, why not then?
Yeah.
That's
I'd
why we
love to
do it.
see. I'd love to see new hairstyles and new like even faces like eyes and noses and that sort of stuff be entered in the game.
Yeah.
Is that something that might, like, I don't know, like, is it a possibility, or is it something that, like, just we can.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say, oh, it's being
Yeah, I
worked on,
know.
or, oh, yeah, it's definitely coming. But it has been discussed many times, and it's one of
Okay.
those ones of, yes, we'd like to see this come, we just don't know when or how. So, which is pretty much the answer for a lot of suggestions, to be honest. This is a great idea, we just don't know when or how to get done. But I know Saruman, obviously it's been talked about, especially with the Golden Mirror coming. And Saruman is keen to get some more customization options in there. It's just making sure that there's nothing else on his plate at the time.
Like, I remember reading an old post by Brash Endeavors. She always had some great. And one of the first things for when the new models came out, the lack of female hair. So yeah,
Yeah,
I remember she was very. She wanted a lot more different hairstyles, and I guess it's like a female.
yeah, yeah. I do agree there. Everybody wants to be able to. The more customization options, the better. Like I've heard stories about people spending hours in Fallout 4 and Skyrim just customizing their character.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously that amount alone would probably never come to Worm, but more options are always better because it's basically more combinations and more things to do. So
Right.
yeah, it's definitely something I would enjoy seeing, and I think Saruman would enjoy seeing too. It's just making sure that resources and all that match up.
Right. Right.
All right, guys. Northeast. That is the direction.
Northeast, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so northeast for
For
the
Supreme.
Supreme. Oh.
Okay,
If
okay.
that's what you're looking for.
Quite funny. The other week, I convinced Buddha to go through this, and I spent the entire time watching him fly around and laughing at him. So he's going to be sitting here watching this video, just going, you took longer than me. You're the worst.
Yeah. So the next question, this is from the same person, so it is about customization still. So will there be adding any new types of clothing, like maybe dresses or
Ooh.
royal garments and yeah, that sort of stuff? And it's definitely something I'd love to see. But and again, I think that you've pretty much already answered this, but yeah, what are your thoughts on garments?
Well, it's the same. Like I know capes are often a common one raised as well, and
Capes.
the big thing with those is they're really hard to make look right and natural, especially in a game like Worm. And so that's why capes are on hold. I would like to see more clothing options. Like I absolutely loved when the new types came in. Like as you may have seen, I'm actually wearing an all black set simply
Right.
because,
Mhm.
black is cool and I'm pretty cool. My mum tells me all the time. But yeah, it's just a matter of working out what's possible, what looks good, and what fits. So yeah, I'd love to see dresses and more gear come in. And I know the PvP kingdoms would absolutely love to see king armor coming in. That one's
Right.
a
That's
bit of a long point.
yeah, an
Um,
oldie but a goodie. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those ones that I just expect a really fancy version of the current torso now.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm expecting. But
It's
yeah,
just
there's a lot of areas that I like that need just a bit more focus on.
yeah, just to go a little further with that question there. So I used to play a game where you're able to dress the way that you want on top of putting gear on that you would need. So you would
Right, yes, like a costume that you
like a
would wear over
costume
your armor.
thing. Yeah. And I don't know if that would particularly fit in Worm. I haven't really thought about that. But when I read that question, it sort of gave me that feeling of that sort of would something like that even benefit Worm?
I honestly, in my personal opinion, think that it would. I think that especially like when you go for leaving the deed, you know, you wear armor and such, and people like showing off their clothes. I know when the all the new cloth armor came out, there was a lot of wow, this is awesome. But you could also tell there was a hint of, well, if I ever fight a bear in this, I'm dead. So I'm probably just going to stick to my chain. And where was Supreme again? Northeast?
Yeah,
North.
I'm
Is that
also
what I
in the
said?
Northeast. I'm
Yeah, I
wandering
was in
around
Mud.
Northeast. Can't find it.
You sure your compass isn't broken?
Now that I'm not there, I don't know. Maybe I said it wrong.
Yeah. Obviously the first thought goes to, well, that would be horrible in PvP. But of course, you know, obviously it doesn't need to be in PvP.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The other thing is yeah, it's kind of it's one of those things where like I'd absolutely love to see it, but if I got told no because of these reasons, like such as, you know, it's not very realistic, you know, you're meant to just look how you like you're if you're in armor, you're meant to look like you're in armor and all
Right.
this. I'd go, well, I kind of understand that. And, you know, so
And that's
yeah,
what
it's one of the
that's what
yep.
came to my like uh another thought uh, along the same lines is the fact that yeah, if you were going out to like mine, for example, and we all want to leave our deeds wearing like as much armor as possible just in case that you get hit by a bear or whatever.
Yep.
Uh, but shouldn't if we're gonna go out to mine, shouldn't we look like a miner? Shouldn't there be like mining gear, and then shouldn't there be like you know, gear to chop down trees, being a lumberjack, and shouldn't there be like smithing gear and that sort of stuff, like making us look like our profession? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I well, like I've said, you know, I like the idea of any more customization. I like the idea of, you know, smithing aprons and the um the lumberjack plaid look and all that. So I can certainly understand, you know, the desire for it all, and I do share in it. It's just one of those ones where it's like, okay, well, like how much would this feature be used? Like if we do all that and, you know, spend a lot of time bringing it in, it usually needs to be a widespread use thing. And so there's a balancing act there too with, you know, like how long will this take to bring in? Will this be
Mm-hmm.
used by lots of people, or will it be something that's like really niche? If it's something that's really niche, we'd still like to see it come in, but obviously it takes lower priority. Like I spoke with Saruman a while back about like actual chess pieces when I was doing the design with you guys, like
Mm-hmm.
work on your chessboard, and I was like, you know, we could have these, and he's like, it's a really good idea, but it's like a dozen new models for something that not everyone will be using, and they're not like really widespread. I'm like, well, maybe they would be widespread with this, but it's just one of those balancing acts about, you know, how much would it be used, how much time will it take, and all that. So I'd love to see first step to be like new clothing options to come in, and then if we wanted to really go themed with the other clothing options, I reckon that'd be a lot of fun. There's a
Yeah.
lot of performance work that Simul's been working on with the unstable client in improving how all that works. He's been
Hmm.
absolutely amazing with working with the 4.0 client, getting a lot of issues in that tweaked out and
Yeah, how is that
improving
going?
performance on it. It's a lot longer than we intended. I know when I we first launched the unstable client in June last year. It was, yeah, we'll get the few bugs out and, you know, we'll have it on stable soon. And that disconnect bug plagued us for a long time. And that was something that, it couldn't be replicated locally. It couldn't be replicated with the dev tools clients, all this, and it was so much work. And yeah, it was one little thing that I think one of the GMs mentioned, that used to happen in the past when something happened. And we went all through and it turned out, yeah, it was something that it happened in the stable client as well, but because the unstable client handled so much more information, that it was triggering the disconnect. And it was just like,
Hmm.
oh wow. Oops, I just found life transfer.
Okay,
Oh
we're
wow.
looking for life
Okay.
transfer now.
All right, it's in like, I want to say northwest. Yeah,
Northwest.
it's
See,
Okay.
in the northwest. Very west, a little bit north.
okay, we're on the east. Well, I lost which way you went. Okay, so next question, actually is something I'm actually quite interested in. It goes like this. We know that server closures are not going to happen. It would also be very unlikely to see new server or cluster be brought online. So is there any plan for an erosion system to return undeeded lands back to a more natural state? And I remember there was like a mention about this in one of the roadmap conversations, but I don't think anything is.
This thing is a little bit, that it's a little bit contentious. There's a lot of different thoughts and opinions about something like this. For me, one of the big things about it is it's what counts as undeeded land that would be eligible for erosion, sort of thing. Like, would it be because there's a lot of undeeded land that's still used,
Right.
and well, I can understand people like turning up in an area with high slopes being like, that's a bit ugly. But it's sort of like one of the key points of Worm is being able to leave your impact on the land and to how you want. So I kind of understand the desire to see land return to a natural state and like come along and have that feeling of being new. But I think like server costs alone in terms of checking slopes, moving dirt, working out which areas are eligible for all that might get a bit too costly. And I think that it also, being able to shape the land and leave a lasting impact unless someone comes along is also something too. Like there are areas that I live in that have people that who have been and left, and I'll still run around and I'll see the area that they're flattening out for their farm, and while someone who
Mhm.
might come along and be like, that's a bit silly, that's just sticks out in the middle of nowhere. And if I was being completely objective, it probably is. But for me, it's also very like it's that person made that impact on that land, you know? And
Yeah.
every time I ride past that area, I do think of them, you know? So I think that's also cool. And so I'd be a little bit worried about losing that. So I can
That is.
certainly understand the desire, but I think I leaned a little bit more towards having it so it's not like that. Like I like the idea in a mechanic sense. It'd be great if the game was built from the ground up with that. But as it is now, I think it would just be a little bit too much. Because I know we've spoken about it in the past, like the idea of the land changing. But yeah, as others have pointed out, the server costs alone would be very, very tough to balance.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. It's hard to say because spends a lot of time working on something that off deed, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
When I
you
can I
know,
can relate to the loss of like going back to a place that used to be like owned by a friend or owned by someone you know, and just to see that it's sort of the remnants of an old place.
Mhm.
Instead, if they put in a system where it reverted back to a natural state, you wouldn't see anything, and
yeah.
yeah, you would lose something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And one
always
thing Rolf's
sorry.
always been, no, sorry. One
Go
thing
ahead.
Rolf's always been big on is the player's impact on the land being a lasting impact. Like, one of the first things when someone goes, oh, what about closing servers? He's like, I kind of like the idea of being able to explore ruins, explore
Mm.
servers, areas that used to be highly built up, but have, since decayed away. And, the idea that even though that person's not there now and they're not playing now, they were there and they made an impact and they changed the land. Shaping the
Yeah.
land around you is the very core of Worm. I think it's the thing that gets most people hooked. The terraforming is probably one of the biggest hooks.
Mhm.
That's right. And
Like I always dream of going back to Autumn Twilight old spot on Deliverance and just sitting there and thinking, this is where we were and the impact that we
Yeah,
had on that spot. Like if it was all like gone, like and the entire place got reverted back to a natural state, it would be a lot harder to even tell that was where we were.
yeah. Well, one thing I have is I now live like 50 tiles in that little plateau that I mentioned that I was mining leveling out.
mhm.
So I stopped by there the other day and it was quite funny because I was just looking at it going like, this is where I first got that bug. Something in this dirt here. I dug this dirt and caught something, because
Yeah.
now I'm here. And it's crazy, like, because it was like, I recall being like, oh, this slope's too big. I need to level out this way and then raise dirt so I can lower it. And it was like, I go back now and it was like a 53 slope. And it was like, wow, I was really newbie then. Like now I can dig up to like 250 dirts. And it's like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you sort of realize how far you've come with that too.
This is gonna take a while. Trying to go through
Yeah,
this place,
This
right?
place is huge. Yeah.
Not quite getting. Well, what is the first clue that we got?
Uh,
anacondas are the animal of which deity?
yeah. My guess would be Libella.
We'll have to find out.
I found Venora. Is it
Well,
is it Venora? It is Venora.
Damn it.
yes. So technically, each creature or each god has their own animals. Only Venora and foes are on freedom. So Venora is the
Oh, okay.
anaconda. Foe is the wild boar.
So is
Um,
Libella, let me guess, hyena?
yep, hyena.
There it
And do
is.
you know magronons?
Uh, is it the ape or the monkey or
Yes,
whatever it
the
is?
mountain
Yes.
gorilla.
There it is, the gorilla.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
why we never see mountain gorillas anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I find quite funny. It's like when I was doing this, I actually was going to do, gorillas the animal of which deity, and then I thought many freedomers probably don't even know that gorillas are even in this game.
In this game,
Right.
yeah. It's
So
true.
this
I was
is
surprised when I saw
Venora.
them on the forums.
Right. We found them on when we did that
Or
little stint on Des Desolation.
yes, we went
So
to
okay, so the statue is to the east-ish. I'm not sure how north or
Yeah.
south, but
east-ish. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about this. I like one of the biggest issues I had was like direction orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other ones I'd like rotate the map to match, so it didn't really matter. Like I was doing a square area, so I could do it like that. But this
yeah.
area, I sort of mined into a mountain. Like this was all mined by me. Obviously with a
Mm.
GM tomb, it's a
Okay.
lot easier.
Yeah.
What I did was I mined up like five or six, no, probably about 10 tiles, and about five or six because I couldn't go further, I think. And so then I mined out the whole area, and then I went back to the start and just basically leveled the entire floor. So yeah, I
Mm.
actually mined out the top areas first and then leveled down, which is how I got all the big columns.
Hmm.
I
But
see.
obviously, if I was doing this on a player tune, I'd probably be here for several years.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. Even as on a GM, I actually probably took me about 3 or 4 days doing it, like 5 to 6 hours a day.
Wow.
And of course, like with the other ones, planning it all, I could still fly through the walls, but GMs can't fly through cave walls. So this was a lot more difficult to actually set up. If you'll notice, and one thing I did to break up and disorient was the different paving.
Yes.
Mhm.
Follow round into pottery and then goes nowhere. And so what I did was I used stone slabs to mark out where I would have the walls. And so
Wow.
I went around the whole thing, dropping all the putting stone slabs on all of them. And then when it came time to actually set it up, I collapsed each tile that was stone slab. And so I ran through the testing, made sure it all worked, and then told I think it was Electress at that time, it was like, all right, you can go through and test. And yeah, I don't think she'll be speaking to me for a while. Um, it was quite difficult to go through, especially like there were one or two things that I did miss. So, she'd come to an area that was like a dead end and it was like, I can't go anywhere. I'm like, oops.
See, interesting story is that Electress was one of our testers for the Autumn Twilight Castle adventure that we made. So
Oh
and
yeah.
she,
Yeah.
yeah, she like they Electress and Tristan they settled like
They came
they, they
over,
they came over and hung
started
out
new
and
characters, and started a deed next to our place.
that's right.
Just
They started new characters. That's right. They started new, and they helped decorate the place and yeah. But they would always get like Electress especially would always complain how she would get lost in the castle, cursing Brian the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally imagine that. I was cursing myself the first time I actually had to go through this. Um, it's all easy to test when you can just fly through walls, but when you actually have to run around and dodge, it's like maybe I made this a bit too big. Like this was originally probably 2 times bigger than what it was before.
oh wow.
Because what it was obviously in the other mazes you can use the tile borders, and I didn't want to use tile borders here because I felt that that would just it'd be tall walls or something that would be the same as any other maze. So I thought, you know what, I'll use cave walls, and then
Yeah.
that project, like that sort of, I did all that and it just started looking even bigger because you had to use individual tiles for the walls instead of just
Yeah.
borders. And I'm like,
Mm.
I think it's a bit too big. So I went through and actually had to like find all these paths, and I'd find a dead end and I'd trail back and then, work out whether this whole section could be collapsed and hidden, and there's one area like someone was drawing a map, and they said to me afterwards, like, I could tell you went and did it because there'd be huge parts of the maze is just, there's like the whole center bit was just no access to. And it's like, I could tell that you dropped something off there. Now, I found Path of Insanity, but in usual fashion, I have no clue where I am.
Yeah. So Brian, did you find the
I
Venora
just
one?
found Venora.
Okay, so I had found Path of Insanity as well, and I'm on to the next one, and I'm sort of just wandering, and I'm completely lost. I found the NPC miner who gave me a torch.
Ooh.
Yes, that was actually quite funny. Throughout making this, I have encountered a few bugs and mistakes that I'd done that were, looking back, were quite funny, but at the time I did them were really, really, really nightmarish. One I did was I set up that sleepy miner to hand out a torch, and it didn't matter.
Uh-oh.
We might have lost.
Did we lose you?
We might have lost Retro. That's okay. We still have, I'm sure, a long time of getting through this maze, and maybe he'll jump right back in.
Okay, so Path of Insanity is east-ish. Oh, there you are. Okay, it's over here.
Oh, we're here? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I am caught up. I'm still confused here. Which seasonal berry is harvestable in the summer? I saw one. I saw a blueberry one somewhere,
Okay. So
but
let's
I don't
go
know
towards-
where.
We'll have to wait for Retro to come back. There he is. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
There you are.
Yeah. Don't know what happened there.
That's okay.
It decided I was talking too much. Now, did you find Path of Insanity?
We
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
'cause I
now-
was standing there, it's like, I could hear you guys saying that you couldn't hear me or you lost me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but I'm right here.
Oh, you
I'm
can hear
right
us. That's
here.
weird.
Yeah, that I blame Australian internet there.
Okay.
So you were saying that
what,
story, yeah.
What was it?
The miner, the sleepy miner. Yeah.
Yeah, I had him hand out a torch, but when I tried it, didn't matter how many times I did it, it would pop up and he'd say the text, but he wouldn't give a torch. And then I'm sitting there going, I have no idea why. I have no idea what's happening. And so I started looking into it more. And the problem is you have to specify the amount of items given when you give an item via this, and it defaults to 0. So technically, he was giving me a torch. He was just giving me 0 torches. And I realized at that point that I'd done the exact same thing with the end of the event reward.
Uh-oh.
And that was a massive panic of quick, get back there and make sure no one's come through and all this. And luckily, no one had. And I managed to fix that one up. But yeah, that was a scary moment. But it's also not the worst I broke in this. I accidentally forgot to, because the way you work it is you have when something's examined, you can trigger an action, and that's what does all the prompts, right? And that's why we require examining. And for some reason, it broke so when anyone did any examine action, they would be teleported to the maze. And so I just started this one, and suddenly people were showing up, and I'm like, "What is going on here? How did you get here? What did you do?" And they're like, one's like, "I was just digging." The other's like, "I was just enchanting something." And I'm like, "Oh no!" So I'm looking through it. I'm like, "Okay, I think I know what it's got." And so I had to return like 8 people back to their towns, simply because they were just doing something, and next thing they knew, they were there. And I thought that was quite fitting, especially like with the way the sleepy miner talks about how he just went to sleep and woke up there. It feels almost fitting for the story I tried to make for the event. But it is quite big. Like, I've had quite a few people tell me that it's a little bit bigger than they expected. Yeah, I can understand that. I was a bit worried about it being too small. So next one I might scale down a little bit.
Just a tad, eh?
Here's one thing I'm noticing. This is the first time I'm ever walking on the caved floors. It seems like it speeds you up.
It does have the same movement speed as normal cave floors. So the main reason why I went for it, because obviously you move faster through this than on rock floor, and this on rock floor would be too slow.
Right, like on regular rock floors you go a bit. Actually, like you have a couple rock floors I'm noticing. So on the paved floors I'm going 15, which is about the same as I would with. And then when I hit a rock floor it's like 10.
Yeah. You notice that drop off.
Yeah.
All right, I'm completely lost.
Yeah, I lost you, so I'm like now. Oh, there you are. Okay, so
where should we go?
So I'm back at
the next order of business, I believe we kind of like we're interested in hearing something new about what is being in development in the game, and we asked if you might give us some insight about that.
Ooh, well, I can't give away too much, but
Okay.
I can tell that there
Hmm.
is a new skill in the works.
Oh,
Wow. A new skill?
Yes,
When was the last time a new skill was introduced into the game?
like a new
I
profession
believe
skill into the game.
turrets, maybe.
Thatching? I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure. No, when challenge was added, I'm pretty sure
Uh-huh.
we added skills for turrets there and like
Oh, turrets. Yeah.
ballista.
Oh,
I
I'm
thought
looking
there
at my
was a.
skill tree right now. Okay, yeah, I see turrets and ballista. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, but who uses those skills? My skill's still one in all of those.
Yeah,
There was a bunch of skill. There was a skill added. I can't remember what it was. Well, maybe like papyrus making, or how long
All
ago was
right,
that? I don't
right.
remember how long ago that was now.
Okay, so my memory's faulty. There have been skills added to the game, but a new
there
skill
have
that's
been.
like crazy.
Yeah, I'm super keen for it, and the whole discussion we had around it was a lot of fun. It was this like we were all
Uh
sort
huh.
of like this moment of can we really do this? Like, is this just something that we're going to go, nah, wait, in the end, this is too difficult? But yeah, so it's in the works. I don't know when it'll come,
Mm,
but yeah, it's pretty exciting for me.
that's awesome.
That's pretty crazy. That's a, so now we have to guess what the skill's gonna be. Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. It will be a new
Oh, this is
harvesting ability.
this is hard, man.
Yeah.
A new harvesting ability. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe. I guess it
That
depends what
was
you define as harvesting.
hmm. Um.
Now we gotta know. Oh man.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Just like
As,
thinking about the possibilities of it
yeah.
make a lot of fun.
Yeah. As
And
long as it's
I
something
know
that fits
I
Wurm,
know
right?
this. Yeah, yeah, I can agree with you there. And I know everyone's going to have their own ideas about what it will be, or what it should be if it's not what they think it will be. Um, I'm keen to see all that though.
I'm interested to see what people guess it will be in the comments of this video. I can't wait because
Yeah.
I'm not creative enough to guess what it could be, but
You know what? I'm so sick. I forget what we're looking for now.
Um,
well, I found Venora
uh,
again.
which
Here
seasonal berry is harvestable in the summer?
Are
I
we
think
still
we
looking for a blueberry?
found that one.
Yes.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
you did?
Did we
Um,
find blueberry? Because I just found blueberry,
I think we found it.
but I
So the
feel like
next
we
one is
found it.
what gem can be found by digging, and the answer
Oh,
is emerald.
it's emerald, and I've seen that a couple times actually.
Have you? Have you? Because I
Yeah,
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet.
but I
One thing
haven't
I've noticed,
seen it.
the each maze has its own difficulties. The hedge maze is like where am I? Where is what I'm looking for?
Mm-hmm.
The house maze is what floor am I on? And
Mm-hmm.
this one seems to be asked that a dozen times, but where is it now?
Pretty much. That's how I feel right now. I
You know what
passed
makes
it
this
at the very beginning. That's the
this one?
problem.
What makes this one hard is that the hallways are long.
That's right.
This one
Yeah,
I think is the biggest area.
Although,
yeah. I
if we
had to
had,
shrink it down a fair bit
Oh yeah.
because yeah, it
mm,
did become too big. And yeah, it's an interesting thing, and it's a one of those things that like next event, I've learned a lot from this. Like I'm sure those of your viewers and all that who have used the mission ruler on a Worm Unlimited server know what a nightmare it can be. I've
Mm.
had several server admins going, so what dev stuff was done for this, or did you just use the mission rule? And I'm like, "Oh, I just used the mission rule." And they're like, "You're kidding me." I found Blueberry.
You found the
Okay.
blueberry. All right, so you're caught up.
So is there any like plans of improving that tool, the mission tool? Because I know that that's been in
Yes.
there for a while.
Oh yes, it's been in there for a long time, and I part of me doing these is like learning for the tutorial as well how to do all that stuff because the more we can have that's not hard coded, the more we can adapt as the game changes.
Mm.
One of the biggest concerns with it all is how it's done now. If it changes in the game, how are we going to get that looked at later? So obviously that's a big issue, and we're also looking at, along with the improved user interface, will come better wiki integration. So instead of those little walls, little windows that don't have any markup, it'll be a much nicer formatted thing. And I've been working with Seedlings, our um, wiki manager, who does an amazing job.
Mm.
In we're basically looking at having wiki-based tutorials for stuff that are on protected pages. So if how to do something like mining or leveling changes, we don't have an outdated tutorial in game, and we can
Hmm.
just update that tutorial on the wiki and make sure it's all official and straightforward.
Mm.
The Book of Wisdom is a really great tool, but I think the issue it faces is one, most people who play and provide advice never used it when starting out. So, they obviously don't know it well enough to recommend it to a new player. But
Right.
also, oh, I found Emerald.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, wandering around lost has its benefits. But yeah, I also think that it'd be great for us to be able to like basically update and dynamically change any tutorial stuff down the line. So yeah, there's a lot of works in future proofing things because Worm's going to be around for a long time. It always will be, and sort of making sure that the foundations we get in now for things um, continue to work and don't constantly need updates are a key thing that we want to address.
That's good. That's. I hope that's good anyway.
That is good. That sounds good. I mean, yeah, I have just found the give up and return to the start
Yeah,
sign.
don't use that one.
No, no. And I'm back at the Venora side. The
That's
Venora.
funny.
Nice.
So
Yeah, there was one period with this maze, it was so big that you could actually be out of each other's local
Yeah.
really,
whilst still in the maze, and I was like, okay, that's a bit big. So I did a
that's
lot of
so
work in
funny.
shrinking.
One last question I have is there like it used to be that there would be a yearly roadmap sort of thing going on. It was either through a discussion or it was a forum post or something like that. Is there plans to continue going forward with that?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but Buddha did one about a month or two ago, and that listed towards the end of last year, after 1.3, we listed our roadmap as the UI stuff,
Hmm.
tutorial stuff. One thing that we've learned from Steam and also from our own um, like data is that
Mm.
Worm actually gets a surprising number of people trying it out. The issue is just keeping them. And
Yeah.
tutorial and user interface are often cited as the biggest issues on like things like Steam reviews and that. So it gives us this unique vision on why people are leaving. And so we're focusing on that, and that's a real like obviously the user interface has been there since Worm started. It's just we added a fancy
Skin.
skin to it, and the new
Hmm.
new one is I'm really excited for that. There's some really cool things coming along with it, and
So is
it,
that in the works, or is that kind of like like so early on in development that the base hasn't been set yet?
The base has been set pretty much.
Oh, okay.
We've spent a lot of time discussing what we wish to achieve with it, which is, we want it to be a lot more modern. We want it to be intuitive. We want it to be a lot less right-click simulator.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
Mm-hmm.
one Steam review jokingly, well, maybe not jokingly, called Worm Unlimited. It's like playing Windows Explorer. Um, and I think everyone who starts new has that thing where it's right clicking everything. I actually watched a YouTuber. He was pushing something and he literally right click push, right click push, right click push. And I actually reached out to him and I said, "Oh, I just wanted to let you know that you can do whatchamacallit, key
Keybinds.
binds."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh wow, that's great," and did it. And then he fell in love with it. And I found that amusing. And like that was one thing that sort of showed to me is, yep, follow me this way.
Okay, coming.
Um, yeah, so that sort of showed me that, that's an area we can work on and,
Oh yeah.
like just improving that and the designs and ideas we've had and discussed with it have me really excited for it. I look forward to, I know some people are apprehensive about losing what they've currently got. And I
Mm-hmm.
know there's already been the suggestion of allow us to keep um, but the biggest thing with that is quite simply it's rebuilding it from the ground up. It's not just going to be a reskinning and then adding in new features.
That's right.
It's going to be looking at, again, longer term stuff and making it a much more usable experience. So I'm really, really excited for it.
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely really excited for that too.
Yeah, when I write I do a lot of planning for the weekly news and all this, and of course, you've got to go through the devs to get in permission to like, is this right to share? Because one thing I always focus on is making sure that when I tease something, that it's going to come in a soon thing, rather
Mm-hmm.
than soon TM. And
Right.
yeah, so I'm constantly, can I share this yet? Can I share this yet? And they're like, no, I don't know when that's coming in, or and all this, and it can be quite funny like that. Cave bridges were quite funny in that sense because um, we actually they were sitting there when we done the underground housing. We are like, okay, so that's going to be in, after that we'll look at cave bridges. And I think Titch was poking around at something, and she's like, I think I made allowances for this, and it just needs a little bit of tweaking. And what do you know? She had it was only a few things that she needed to change, but she had pretty much to allow for the underground levels to be added. And so all she needed to do was tweak those and then a little bit of testing. And we had yeah, the bridges available
Yeah,
underground. And I was
cave.
Yeah.
thrilled it.
When that was announced, that made my jaw drop. And then the fact that it came in so quickly after it was announced, it was just like, what? Like that was amazing.
Yeah, I think it surprised everyone, to be honest, that
Yeah.
that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes something just clicks and that's what you can do. It's just like, yep, bang.
It just goes to show that like a lot of the time, like as you said, you don't want to tease something when it might not come in, but it just goes to show like how genuine the Worm team is about revealing what you don't want to reveal something that that you're not sure that you're able to deliver on. So a lot of the times that you when people are asking for stuff
Yeah,
and
it's
yeah.
getting it right. That's a big dead end. I don't know why I didn't close this one off. Oops.
Well, I finally found Emerald.
Okay, good. Because that was
I
yeah.
think I get the feeling we're very close to deed stake. If you follow
It's
me,
it's somewhere in this area. I feel like this. Yeah, okay. And Brian should be close by if he got Emerald just a second
Just
ago.
found Emerald, yeah.
And we're not too far from Emerald.
we are almost done.
It still says 74%. So I feel
Yeah,
like
that was actually a funny thing. It doesn't go all the way to 100%. I had
oh.
to I had to skip some corners there because
Hmm.
yeah, working out how it would exactly pick across was a little bit difficult.
We're back at Venora-ish area. And
Yeah,
Supreme, the start sign.
whoever designed this map, this maze needs to be shot. Why did I do this?
Yeah, this is quite a large one.
Yeah, okay, so we're at Venora here, and
I'm at the very beginning. Okay, made it to the sign that says "Give up now."
Yeah, okay, you're right by us. Let me see. Hold on. I just saw that sign a second ago. Where I'm at Venora, and the give up sign is okay. There
There you are. Okay. It's gotta be somewhere, right?
So I see. So at the beginning, if I chose the cave, I would have ended up in here first. Is that how it
yes,
goes?
and you would have questions in a different order.
Oh.
Interesting. So that makes walkthroughs a little bit. I guess they could have just made like somebody could walk through here, make a map, and pinpoint exactly where
I'm sure that's what people did.
Yeah, I think they are available out there, which I don't mind. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be here if it wasn't a challenging one.
Yep.
I think I know where to go from Venora though. We got to go to the southeast of the cave.
Okay.
Stop southeast.
Now, one thing that I was... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, one thing that I was interested in, to note about this place is that you mentioned that you don't have to be premium to get the reward.
Yes.
Was that a decision that was made on purpose, or was that like something that sort of after the fact you noticed that it was like that?
No, it was a decision I actually made when I did it. I wanted anyone to be able to enjoy it. One thing that I like the idea of more like, I know sometimes we just hand out, like for Christmas you go to Santa and you get something.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of there being a little bit more behind it, so for things like that where it's just handed there, being premium only makes sense, because that way you can't just have a bunch of non-premium alts just collect something. Whereas for this one, because you've got to go through the whole event and like that, I think it's okay to have that maze there, because I don't think anyone would be insane enough to run alts through this.
But isn't there a worry that, now that there's maps and stuff out there, that people would just continually make more and more alts and continually accumulate more and more of these masks?
It just means more masks that can be, that can wind up in the game and be used by people. I don't think anyone's going to stockpile 10 masks, but if someone who couldn't do the event jumps in and, sees someone selling a mask, they might go, yeah, I'll buy that, and then someone else gets to wear it, which I think is pretty cool. Like, it's one of those things that, especially when you work out a gift, it's what is what is something we can give out that can be given out 3,000 times and not become like massively watered down, which is why, or just land 3,000 of something in the game and sort of see how that goes. So there's usually a lot of discussion about what's possible to add, what is balanced to add in terms of that. So that's why I like erring on the side of vanity items. Like, I really enjoyed the picnic basket. I think seeing people's reaction to getting that was like, it was sort of like this perfect moment of 1.3 had come out and it was huge and it was so much work and stress, and then this came out and it was just Christmas. Everything was, oh, I'm at Emerald. Where's Emerald?
Yep.
It's a
Okay,
good question.
I think we're near it. I think we are near it.
It's the Valerie. I've
Um,
seen it before.
yeah, I think it's to
It's
the
near the sleeping
northwest.
miner, wherever that is.
Yeah, I think it's in the northwest.
Northwest.
Let's go this. No, okay, let's go this way.
Yeah, definitely. If we were not conducting an interview at this moment, I would definitely be spending my time mapping this place out.
Yeah,
Me
I think one of
too.
the first things that Electress did when she jumped in, she's like, "Yeah, I need a map.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm lost already. Don't follow me. There's two really long paths. Let's go this way."
All right, so I just wanted to ask a few more questions that I had burning
Okay, that's all
desire to
right.
ask. First one, I think you touched upon it a little bit, but uh, like we all like Worm for different reasons. I know even me and Adam love it for completely different reasons, and we play it for different reasons. What captured you? What is your favorite part of this game?
Ooh, that's hard to say because I'm very bad at it.
What do you mean you're very bad at it?
I am not very good at grinding,
Okay.
and I'm not very good at designing deeds. So I sort of wind up in this. I love it for the reasons everyone else loves it. I love seeing what people make in it. I love seeing what people shape and all this, though I might not do much of it myself. Um, I fell in love with the dye system. I started doing natural substances
Mm.
um, so I could like get concrete of all things. It's like, I want to make concrete, so I need some. Ended up grinding natural substances up to 90. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, just
That's
kind
impressive.
of fell in love with making colors. And the one thing about the natural substances and dyes system is it's really hard to wrap your head around at first,
Mm-hmm.
but the second you do, it all just clicks. And you wind up with this. Yeah, you just at one stage, it's just I suddenly got it,
Mm.
and it became this whole thing that I was like, "Yep, I got this," and started just being able to customize colors for people. And one funny thing was people would order, they'd be like, "I'd like this," and it's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do that." And you start putting it together, and then it winds up, yeah, you send it off to them, and then you don't hear back from them, and you're like, "Did you like it?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, of course." Whereas, like, I was having this talk with a friend, and it's like, choosing a color is a very personal thing for someone. It's usually their favorite color, and it usually has a little bit of sentimental value to them in some ways. And for me, I enjoyed seeing that. Like, people got their prized possession, their their rare thing, their rare cart, or their that's Venora. So I don't think we're in the right area. I think we need to head more north. Well, let's go this way. They would get their rare cart dyed, or they would get something else done, and it was like feeling of like being able to make what they enjoy just that little bit more, and allow them to show off a little bit more. So that's one thing that I really fell in love with doing, just bringing that out.
Mm.
And yeah, it's quite funny because people would buy it. It's just like they were buying like a 90 quality tool. They'd you'd mail it to them, you'd not hear back from them. And yes, this is it. I remember this. This is the only section of the area with paved reinforced floor because I realized you move slow on it.
Uh, I lost you guys.
Oh no, because I already exited out.
Uh-oh.
Let's go north
Just go north. Okay.
and find the reinforced floors.
That's
It's one thing
funny.
about the like I did a little bit of dye making, and I still would say that I am not totally figured out exactly how to get the perfect RGB color. But I know that what I would do is I would go to, online and find an RGB color maker, and I would just like
Yep.
find the color that I'm looking for, get the exact RGB code, and then try my best to match it in the game.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's learning about how. Let me see. I'll just go and see if I can.
I
There
did
you go.
it.
All right. Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of it for me is learning about how you can modify it, manipulate it, and just get that right color. And I have a lot of fun doing that. And when people go, "Oh, I want a bright yellow," being like, "Yep, I can do that," and just finding out how much they enjoy it once they get it, and it really what makes me feel good in the end.
mm,
And here we are, the Dream Master.
Ooh.
although
It's a
I'm
subtle
having,
nod to Enki.
yeah, he has that name in his IRC.
Yeah, that was his original name.
Oh, okay.
I think he was born with the name Enki, but he claims otherwise.
There it is, the Mask
And
of
there it
Rebirth.
is. I will equip it so you can see it.
Nice.
There we go.
That looks awesome.
I think this has got to be a record for our longest episode ever.
There you
Yeah, I was
go.
worried you're gonna run out of questions to ask me.
Yeah.
That is definitely, yeah, one of our longest. I don't know if it's the longest, but I'm gonna say yes, it is the longest. So you get the record right there. So there you go. So I'm glad. I didn't know if we were actually gonna make it through this whole thing and get the mask, but I'm glad we did, and I'm glad we had a chance to talk to you. Sorry, I was sick this whole time, but
That's all right.
I didn't get to talk as much as I probably wanted to. And you know what? We had even more questions. We could have talked
Well,
for more hours.
I'm sure there's always a chance for a return event.
There you go. So,
Totally.
thanks everyone for actually sticking around these past few hours, watching us go through this labyrinth, and putting up with my constant coughing. Thank you, Retro, for joining us. It was great for you to do this.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you, Adam, for putting up with me. So, so guys, hopefully I'll get rid of this this sore throat by next episode. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Just keep on worming. Take care, everyone. Hey everyone, thanks for watching and sitting through our episode with Retrograde. He's really a great guy. Thanks so much for doing that with us. See, I got better. I'm not coughing anymore. We just want to spend some time right now and thank our Patreons, which definitely you guys made this interview possible.
Right, so we want to give a shout out to a few of our patrons. Revnik, Daspra, Deathwind, Ian, Koyoko, and Valiance and Kaylee. You guys are amazing, and to all of our patrons, your support means so much to our show and so much to us, and it'll help us continue making great content. So yeah, thank you very much.
And everybody that watches our show, you guys allow us to make these videos that we do, and you allow us to attract people like Retrograde, and we're glad that he was able to give us these great masks and be a part of our show for an episode. It was a great experience. But next episode, we'll be back in the labyrinth, and we'll be focusing our efforts on our castle finally. But remember that we release our regular episodes once every other week. But next week, we will be back with another bonus video, and we will be doing another round of the quick fire questions, so look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying those because I'm enjoying hearing your responses to them, and it's yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. I love hearing everyone's answers to those.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
guys, thanks for watching again, and until next time, keep on worming. Take care, everyone.